There once was a monk named Ananda. He spent his time traveling in the forest behind his village. There was a peace in nature that he loved, a beauty to it that he enjoyed, and a scent that elevated his spirit. One day he came across a hermit.
Hello, friend. How are you this beautiful day?
I am not your friend. I am not anyone's friend.
Usually Ananda would leave people alone that didn't want his company. But something about the man made Ananda feel like he needed to stay.
Is something wrong?
I live in the woods for a reason, to not answer stupid questions.
Fair enough. But is living in the woods giving you the happiness that you want?
I was miserable in the village and I'm miserable here, but I have less people to deal with.
Why were you miserable in the village?
That is a long story and I truly doubt you care.
But I do. Very much so.
If that is true, then come back tomorrow and I will tell you my miseries.
I will do that, my friend.
They parted ways and Ananda walked home. The next morning, Ananda walked into the woods once more. Ananda brought the man a robe, and the man put it on in the cool morning.
Now tell me your story, my friend.
It is a truly tragic one.
And I am here to listen.
I once had a family. My wife passed when my youngest was born, catching a flu that took her life. The flu took many people's lives in that time. I worked endlessly to provide for my children. But then my youngest died. And then my oldest got sick. And they passed as well. I took each one and laid them to rest at the Ganges that their souls may be free. Each time was harder and harder, until finally I called to the gods to take me as well, but they would not.
I'm sorry, my friend. That is a great deal of loss.
The hermit was visibly shaken and clearly trying to decide whether or not to continue.
I think I am done talking for today. If you want to hear more, come back tomorrow.
Ananda agreed and happily told him he would be back tomorrow. The next morning, Ananda returned. He sat with the hermit in silence for a long time. And then suddenly the hermit spoke.
All through the village they pitied me, the man who lost his entire family, and I grew to resent their pity. I drank too much trying to dull the pain. I got into fights hoping that someone would do what the gods would not, until eventually the village didn't want me anymore, and I decided to go and live in the woods.
Ananda sat silently, taking in all that the hermit had told him, waiting for a moment, trying to figure out the right thing to say.
You have suffered greatly and lost much, my friend. Can I tell you why I think you suffer and can't even find peace alone?
I will listen to you, but I know my suffering.
You have experienced loss, and you have suffered those experiences, dealing with more than most. But it was not the loss of those you loved that hurt you. It is the doubt, shame, anger, regret, and wish that things would be different that causes your suffering. When you were in the village, you were miserable. When you were alone, you were miserable, which is to say that wherever you go, the world is where you are. No amount of suffering will bring back what you lost, but all living is an honor to the dead, to show that we cherish what they no longer have, and carry on what they taught us and made us feel when they were alive. You cannot run from your suffering any more than a man can live without encountering suffering. But you can let your suffering go, and you can embrace life. You can accept the life that you have as you have it, letting go of your want for it to be any other way, and being grateful for all that was and ready for all that will be. Does a flowing river worry about anything in its path? Or does it simply alter its route and continue to flow? When a drought comes, does it worry that it is drying up? Or when rain comes, does it worry that it is expanding over more and more land? Water flows effortlessly, adapting to the twists and turns of its journey. Likewise, we must learn to embrace the flow of life, finding balance in every moment.
The hermit began to weep, realizing in that moment how much of his pain was him resisting life, realizing that though his loss was great, it did not require him to suffer as well.
You speak great truths, my friend, and I have much to think about.
Ananda left the hermit, hoping he had been of help and eager to see him again. The hermit sat in a tree thinking of all that Ananda had said to him. He remembered his children and his wife. In that moment, he embraced all the pain that he had at once tried to hide from. When Ananda returned to the woods, the hermit was nowhere to be found. Each day, Ananda walked through the woods, hoping to spot his friend. Then one fine morning, Ananda noticed a man with a shaven head staring at Ananda.
My friend, is that you?
It is my friend, and I'm glad to see you. I have been coming back into the woods looking for you.
And are you my friend?
I realized that you were right, that I had held on to my suffering and turned my suffering into my life, that I had ceased to flow with life, and I couldn't escape my pain by running away from it, because I was my pain.
I am so happy for you, my friend.
I have returned back to my village to share with them what you have shared with me, to help those who have suffered and continue to do so when they no longer need to.
This is more than I could ever ask for, my friend.
I understand clearly now, my friend, that we suffer not what happens to us, but what we carry with us and don't let go of. It is not what happens to me that I must concern myself with, but how I respond to what happens.
So true, my friend. Your path awaits you, and I shouldn't keep you from it.
I shall get back to the village. If ever you cross into my village and you see me, call me Pratidi, for I was without hope and now have an abundance of it.
Ananda parted ways once more with Pratidi, knowing his friend would bring great change and great help to his entire village. Suffering is always going to be around us, but it is in our willingness to face the pains we meet in life, to experience them completely without stories or narratives or giving it meaning, to accept life and flow with it like the rivers flow through their paths, that will determine whether we experience peace or chaos, because it is only in the acceptance of life as it is that we can begin to create life as we want it to be. And therein lies our ability to never truly suffer again. So go forth on your journey, face the pains that you carry with you, accept them for what they are, and let them go, that you may be free to honor the life that you have and live it fully. If you like this story and want more like it, hit like, subscribe, smash the notification button, and comment down below. Thank you.